Hello, I am Jody Wolfen. You're watching Expoz on November 15, 2016 at 10:28 p.m. Birmingham. And I'm sitting here gathering my information that I start putting together because I've got several blogs here, but I have some pieces I need to fill in because I've got a little story to tell. And then I ran across one that kind of squeezed in between mine, and I thought I'd look at it. Titled, What Will Happen Now That Donald Trump is President? It's called, or he is understanding. I'd sit there and listen to 20 minutes of a 26-minute blog, and so far he has mentioned Trump for 2 minutes. And the rest of he's talking about a third eye, and he's talking about going and looking for non-GMO foods. But he also kind of take it by the way he was talking that he didn't vote for Trump. So I thought I would look into a little bit of this guy and a little bit more, and I find a deeper look into the mechanics of occultism and how it relates to the election of Donald Trump. Well, he should have scratched Trump out and put Hillary Clinton there. So I responded in part to him and then told him what it would be like with Donald Trump as our new president. And so I started out, when I responded to him, I need to say on paper it all works. But listen to this one big thing. Yes, tap into the inner self, look for non-GMO foods, say what you are and want and need. It works on paper. Why? Because we escaped the evil socialist communist world by a thin hair. For 5 years and 8 months at 8 p.m., a lot of people prayed every single night. Not a day break, every night. 2 Chronicles 7:14. And what was our reward, our payoff? Well, it was 2 Chronicles 14:7. The election of a man brought up by God for this day. Otherwise, you're not a free man, and you cannot decide if you do or don't want GMO foods. It is not your decision. You're a socialist now. This, assuming Clinton had won, you're a socialist now, and they won't let you. You'll be under a non-ending martial law, as in all communist countries. Only the multimillionaires, the elite, I'm sorry about that, made me lose my place, will have that freedom. Not you, not me. And as far as looking for GMO foods, you can't drive. I mean, you're not going to have a car. And this is common in communist countries. And if you do have a car, you have enough clout or enough what it takes to own a car, you're still limited to the number of miles you can drive in a day. So those GMO foods better be close. And that means if your job is 6 miles from your home, then you'll be allowed 12 miles a day, no more. And you will work, by the way, once that comes in. No free rides. And a final third reason to thank our God is communist socialist nations. In order to be a Christian, you go underground. If not, you look into the laws of China, a communist country, Iran, a socialist Muslim nation. You better be underground. Why? Because Christians die in those countries. You are so very close to losing all of your freedom. And you have yet to even mention it or your blog right here that Trump is brought in or has been brought in maybe by our God. If Jesus is not your Lord and Yahweh is not your God, then just carry on. But keep in mind, you still cannot have that that you dream of unless you have freedom. Freedom that this country almost lost. Many believe Trump will be America's last president, and I am in that boat, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Not because Trump will take over the United States under martial law. Not at all is that the case. And I'll say again, God, through Donald Trump, has given the United States one last chance to get things right. And to do this, we need to start with number one, put prayer back into schools. Number two, this is the order in which they fell. Number two, Roe versus Wade. And number three, put the 10 Commandments that Judge Roy Moore fought long and hard for back on the public and federal walls of every building in this country. He was fined, he was jailed, he lost his judgeship, and the list continues as to what the feds did to this man and his family, and he has not yet recovered from the loss. But he still fights to put the 10 Commandments back on his wall above his desk behind him. The desk he doesn't have for now. His family and Alabama, but the United States, number one, is the greatest nation on earth. I don't like to hear this, but I'll tell you, because many good Christians believe this. The thing, some people think the new Babylon, the final Roman Empire, will be right here. And I say to that, no. Not the coming evil final Roman Empire. They can keep that title. I believe it will be in Iraq, 50 miles northwest, I think it's northwest of Babylon. Baghdad right now. And they're building, you wouldn't believe what they're doing. You need to look at that and see. It's almost built, almost completed. In America, United States, we'll keep our title. America will bloom like a Garden of Eden on steroids. As Trump said, great again. Americans will be bigger, better, wealthier, 100% out of debt, with the same amount of money in the banks across the world. And every man who is able to have a job, who is able to work, will have a job. To be fair and balanced, he will work. It's easy. Work. If you don't work, you don't eat. You're available, you're able, you must work. And that's anywhere. The lazy people that's never worked a day in their lives sit back on their butts and didn't do nothing but bring in more money than I did. And I'm working between 40 and the most hours I averaged for about 6 years building, 3 years, starting 2006, building houses. It was about 72 to 82 hours a week. And these guys sitting on their butts made more money than I did. And, but we are going to be out of debt. We're going to be 100% where we want to be, where we would have been had Bush has not come along. Or really, going back to taking prayer out of schools, if that hadn't happened, this country would be amazing. But, remember this, we are back. This is but a small picture. The big picture will make even great countries envy America. This will be the rule for 4 years, and it depends on God's timing. We will either continue 4 more years, or the world will enter into its final 7 years of life on earth as we know it. The fall has begun, and it has been extended for a time. We know 4 years. No one knows how long beyond that. But beyond that, when all hell does break loose, the rapture of the church, and then the tribulation, because Satan has to finish his work. But for now, Donald Trump has thrown a monkey wrench in his plans. And I love it. But people, there's a lot of stuff. And for example, 911, we saw the towers fall. Then 119, we saw Trump elected. 2 Chronicles 7:14, God tells us, if you turn from your wicked ways and you come back to me, then I will hear you and I will bless your land. In other words, he will hear our prayers and heal our land. And what's the reward? Well, 2 Chronicles 14:7. That's the reward. Look at it closely. It even mentions walls. Anyway, I had to comment to this guy, and I just went ahead and extended it for a moment just to bring you up on what we're entering into. Probably the best time of most of our lives. Jody Wolf Expoz.